What's going on, beautiful people? How are you? My name is Neatte Ridgeway. I am the host of Boss Talk. We're going to be getting into some hot topics this evening. And I just want to get some of you guys' opinions on it. Yeah. I'm going to get your opinion on some of these hot topics that's been viral in the YouTube, TikTok world. And I want to know if it's hitting home for y'all. Do me a favor, drop where you from. I look, officially, but unofficially, jump starting our Boss Talk segment. Officially, dropping our Boss Talk segment on the People's Campaign. Again, my name is Neatte Ridge. What's going on, Miss Bethay? How are you, beautiful? How are you? I'm glad you guys are plugging in for the Boss Talk show this Sunday at 5:45 p.m. If we can, matter of fact, before I launch into anything, I want to load this first clip. And I want you guys to give me your honest opinion on it. If you were in this situation, a group of young black women evicted from an Airbnb. I know you guys have been on been to an Airbnb before, and you know some of the rules. Some of you may have Airbnbs and you know what you expect from your guests. So we can load this clip up so we can get the response from the people.
So this Airbnb host called the police on us this weekend and told a bunch of lies, stated that it was 20 people, we were having a party. The Raleigh Police Department shows up with about 15 police officers. We were not having a party, we were having
All right, so I think we have some technicalities. I'm gonna get you to pull the video back up, you guys. Again, I want your raw opinion on it. If you were in a situation where you were pretty much getting kicked out, party or no party, proclaim, or if you were the Airbnb host, like who do you want on your property? You know, this video has actually went viral, has over 3.3 million viewers, plays, been recognized nationally as an issue. So if we get a chance.
no music. So yeah, she just lied. 20 people, and she said it was a party because we had food and because she was looking at it on the camera.
It's no parties, ma'am. It's just a game night. Just playing some games on the tablet. But it's okay. I mean, I can show you the camera. It's no problem. It's fine. I just know not to rent from you again. It's okay. I'll make my.
All right. So this is the thing. Until we can get that corrected, I'm gonna give you guys a scenario. Question. This is a quick question. I need some genuine stuff. Would you or would you not consider an event or party if there were balloons? Yes or no? Lower the comments out. Yes or no? If you saw balloons, would you think it's a party? What do you think is a party? Yes or no? Are you partying or no with balloons? Because I know me personally, as I'm driving by and I happen, look on a little mailbox or whatever, and I see some balloons. I'm like, something's going on over there. I don't exactly have to know. If I see cars pulling up, something's going on over there. I might not know, but something's happening. And then, like, in our culture, right? What's considered partying? Like, for real, what was considered partying? Because I know, look, I'm not a partier. I like to have a little get together or two, but I'm not a partier. I don't consider, what you going, what's that, Lord? I just like music. Matter of fact, I have a party when it's music by myself. Dang, then I guess that makes me a partier. But thank you, Miss Bethay. Thank you, Miss Beautiful. Let me see. Let me see if we can get the video back up. I'm gonna ask you guys if you can hear it from me. If you can hear the video when it comes back up, just type in the comments to let me know.
Okay, so this AirBNB host called the police on us this weekend and told a bunch of lies, stated that it was 20 people, we were having a party. The Raleigh Police Department shows up with about 15 police officers. We were not having a party, we were having a game night, no music. So yeah, she just lied, 20 people, and she said it was a party because we had food and balloons, because she was looking at it on the camera.
It's no parties, ma'am. It's just a game night, just playing some games on the tablet. But it's okay. I mean, I can show you the camera. It's no problem. It's fine. I just know not to rent from you again. It's okay. I'll make my comments and all that kind of stuff.
That's fine. Unfortunately, we're not allowed parties. That's the rules of the house.
It's not a party. You didn't hear no music when you came up, did you? So we're not partying. There's no, we just, fam, you know, game night on TikTok, the games, that's all we doing, literally. It wasn't a party. So you're saying everybody or
everybody have to leave the property.
Even me that rented it?
You gonna get your money back?
So do I get a refund? Calm down.
Unfortunately, no, because you break the rules.
I'm not having a party though, so how about breaking the rules?
You have balloons, you have food.
Balloons don't, they're just saying that I'm 53. It's just,
so can I ask you a question? So what's the AirBNB for? Why did you
stay when you come in? You can.
But I see in the comments where people say that, you know, it's
supposed to be more people than
Did y'all hear how rude she was? Oh my God, I was punching my.
It's okay, y'all. Come on. It's just, yeah, because it's going to make it more problem. But I didn't understand why we needed so many police officers just to come deliver a message, though.
Because we're black.
You know, she mouthed it. I'm Hispanic too. So
it's not, you can even count. You can even count. It's not even 20 people in here. It ain't even 10. It's right at 10, probably. It's okay. We leaving. It's no problem.
Looky here. So, before I jump in on it, I want you guys to drop in the comments something that stood out to you, like as the AirBNB owner. Like I get that we have rules that we want our customers or tenants to follow. I get that. But when we deliver the message, are we delivering it professionally? Like in a non-biased manner? Okay. We got Sadidi Woo. I consider it a party if there are people in the AirBNB that aren't listed as guests. That's a good point. Oh man, you can't be kicking out the guests now. You can't be kicking out the guests like that. Like, where in the world was there an explanation of what's considered a party? What's considered a party? Like, for the owner, obviously, that was considered a party. But for the customer, she didn't consider it a party. She was like, hey, ain't no music in here. No party. If I was going to have a party, I would have had more guests. And for you to estimate that I have 20 people, when I'm counting, I don't see 20. You know, so look in the eyes of both the customer, because hey, now everybody get kicked out and not get paid. Like, you didn't put your money out here. You got your people showing up. I'm pretty sure you got your cake, your ice cream. You know, you got your people ready. She wasn't professional. That's a good point too, and that's also variated. Like, far as like professionals, I do kind of want to know who she was texting. Not gonna lie to you, who was she texting? I don't know. Was she texting? Was she the actual owner or what? I would love to have both parties come. Matter of fact, we're actually having a young lady in the video come through next Sunday. Next Sunday, she's going to come through and showcase and talk about what exactly happened during that night. Because if we're sitting up here I don't want to be biased or anything, but partying can look different to some of us. Like, okay, Sade, he's like, was it loud, or she just spying that there was 10 people? That's a good question, because what I want to know too was like, who reported it? Was there a report? And how did she see these people? Where were the cameras? Felicia like, it's a party. She's like, Sade's like, why else do people get an Airbnb to have fun? That is a huge, huge, huge question. Why do we get Airbnbs? Do we get them just to lay up? Do we get them just to rest our head? Like, or do we actually get them to engage in other social events? But I guess it depends on, like, I know I have questions of like, why do we book the Airbnb? Sometimes you might book an Airbnb because you just want to have a mini vacation. You don't need music to have a vacation, right? You don't need a bunch of people there either. So drop some, let me see. Like, I just want to know, okay, let me see. Okay, so I want to talk about it. If you guys can look in the comment section, if you click at the top, there's a link, a StreamYard link for you to join me in the conversation, because I want to know someone else's perspective as well. Like, would you consider it a party? Yes or no? And if you were the Airbnb owner, could you have been more lenient? Like, man, this woman's trying to celebrate her 53rd birthday. Like, she's not being disruptive. She get there, she's trying to be nice and say, oh, we're just, doing little TikTok games and everything. Like, would you have been more professional? And then as a resident or a customer of the Airbnb, like, would you have taken offense to the fact that you're not getting your money back because of someone saying that you're having a party, but in your mind, you're not having a party? This is just girls' night. We're relaxing, just getting together and just having a ladies' night. I know plenty of times when we sit up here, we have our ladies' night out, right? I don't consider it a party, but it could be about 4 of us. We just sit back and we're relaxing, having girl talk conversations, might be a little music on, but it's not considered a party. All right. Felicia, like, yeah, she said they were celebrating her 53rd birthday. That might be another thing too. Like, these weren't little children. These weren't teenagers. These weren't young people who probably could have been disruptive in the neighborhood. Mandisa says, professionalize goes out the window when you know you was wrong. What's going on, Mandisa? How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Can't hear you, love.
I'm good. How about you? Can you hear me now?
No. Can't hear you. All right, so we're going to pour her back and when she get her audio corrected. But like, what does partying look like? Because I know me personally, I do not consider it a party. Party to me actually includes the intent of it being a party. Because I've had several people coming through and I never classified it as a party. I never said, oh, this is a party. Even though I probably had 10 so people. We were sitting around having a conversation and we were just enjoying ourselves. But to be honest, like, what does it really look like? I don't know. What does it really look like? It's everyone's perception of what they decide they want to internalize it as. And let me see. Stevie Woo says, if you can't do it at a hotel, you shouldn't do it at an Airbnb. You can't put balloons on a mailbox at a hotel. You know what? I agree with you. All right, Sade says if they tore it up, I can understand. Definitely. So mature behavior, like a mature celebration, like why would that be an issue? Unless there was an issue. You say what? All right, let me make sure you guys can you guys hear me? Yep. So I'm not sure. Could they hear me? All right, so that's the thing. Like, was there any damage to the property? That's what I want to know, even as an owner. I would want to know, was there any damage going on? Because if I'm thinking you're partying, I'm thinking about liabilities. No lie. Think about liabilities. What am I about to be liable for with these partiers? Felicia says if they weren't loud or no complaints, then she could have let that go. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that letting it go, because a lot of times when we do have our own perspective of what something is, if you actually have some proof, like you got some proof of what's going on after your own perception. Like, I get there, it's not loud. I get there, these women are, decent. You said, Sade, say, heck no, I'm nervous. What? Sade, come on now. We've had conversations. We had a conversation, and you have a beautiful presence, love. So don't be shy of the camera. But also, you can get over here and you don't have to turn your camera on. You don't want to turn it on. You can just use your voice. Jorge, she's a... We're not going to do that. But like, think about it. People have their own perception, though. Like, do they have a right to think that something is what they would consider a party? Do she have that right? Christy, hey, you guys, how are you? Beautiful. If you can't, man, Christy, jump up on here if you can. Click the link at the top. And Felicia, click the link at the top. I want to know. I don't want to just talk about my perspective of what I see, because I know you guys watched the video. If you can pull something else from the video, because I also want to know, due to respect, like, where were the cameras? What camera was she referring to? And the officers, if this is a get together, an event for women, who were these officers, and why were there so many that had to come and respond to her? What was that? Like, is that a usual thing that happens there? Is that something common? And far as the residents who were there, like, what were their expectations from the Airbnb? Like, when they got there, of course, when you get there, you looking around, you want to have a good time. What are we gonna do? Go to an Airbnb, sit, go to sleep, watch TV? Not gonna have a conversation. Not going to have any type of celebration whatsoever. Is that what we're going to do when we go to Airbnb? Just use it as a resting point? And also, when we're talking about the amount of people at the Airbnb, are we paying per person, or are we paying for the stay? It's like that's a few of the biggest questions, like, we want to know. Because like I said, from the owner perspective, I can understand as far as any liabilities happening on the property. Hey, Miss Mandisa, how are you?
Hi.
So, where's your perspective on the situation at hand?
My thing is, it was definitely a party. It was definitely a party, and they should have got kicked out. And I, as a business owner, I wouldn't have given them back their money neither, because they knowingly broke the rules.
Oh, okay. They said it wasn't a party. They weren't loud. Did anyone call on them? How many private parties?
Party. So you have many people. You're having a game night. Even with their terms, party and get together is basically the same thing.
Did she say it was a get together?
If you want, yeah, she said a get together or a game night rather.
Game night.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say the lady, the Airbnb, she said it was only registered for like wings.
For who?
And so even if,
You said register for who?
I want to say she in the video she said it was only wing guests registered. So even if you have wing registered guests, but there's 3 of y'all, you broke the rules. That voids the contract. Like even in a lot of hotels, they charge you based on how many people is going to be living there. You was wrong. Any consequences that happens after you knowingly did something wrong, suck it up.
So are you trying to say that they didn't expect the owner just to be appearing at the door with the police? Is that what you're saying?
Say that one time.
Are you saying that they didn't expect the owner to be appearing at the door with the police?
No, they didn't expect that at all. But they did not. Truthfully, I wouldn't expect it neither. But at the same time, I'm a grown woman. We know. Why did you lie on the thing if you didn't feel like you was doing anything wrong? If you know you doing something wrong, be prepared for any consequences that come after. I can even get attempted to talk your way out of it as if you don't know, but you in the back of your mind, you know, God, I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have lied. I shouldn't have invited everybody over, and suck it up. Like the one that try to make it seem like she's.
If you look at the video is not stating that she feels like she's lying. The video it starts off saying, as she captioned it, liar, saying that she's not having a party. That the owner is assuming that she's having a party.
Okay, she said, didn't she say 3 people were asleep?
All right, Felicia says, I think the owner should have given them a clear explanation of her definition of a party. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's
what party means.
But not every occasion is a party. Sometimes you just happen to invite somebody, you're in the area, hey girl, I got an Airbnb, and y'all you have a conversation. A little
Even
laughter may occur.
There's 8 people. That's a party. And somebody in party. That was a birthday gathering. Whatever terminology you use it. Y'all in there, you having a party in that woman's home.
We can't call it what they decided not to call it. It was not a party, so we're gonna have to come up with new verbiage. If it's not a party, then what was it?
That's why I started saying get together. It was a birthday get together.
They say I think it's a game of semantics. Charlotte says, again, most people get an Airbnb to have people come over or share the cost. Okay, so we can't directly say what was, because according to someone's perception, in their mind, that's what it is. Like, I don't know about how you were when you grew up or whatever. If your mom walked in the house and seen that you had like 5 or 6 friends, what would she say? Break this up. But
it was exactly.
But technically, I never said it was a party. I never said that. But it's like,
what do you consider a get together?
A get together is a group of people coming together for a common cause.
So if nothing else, we can agree is that.
a group of people getting together for a common cause. I'm getting with you because it's your birthday. And because it's your birthday, then we're going to smile and we're going to laugh and we might dance. But then if you go back to it being under contract, the contract never states, or it doesn't. I would love to talk to the owner. I wonder what the contract states as a definition of a party. Like, what does that state? Does it state that you cannot have visitors? Does it state that you cannot have visitors at the Airbnb? Does it state that you can no dancing?
Most of them says that.
All right, so to get this a little bit more clear, let's go ahead and relaunch this clip so people can get another perspective on it. This in case you didn't grab it the first time.
So this Airbnb host called the police on us this weekend and told a bunch of lies, stated that it was 20 people, we were having a party. The Raleigh Police Department shows up with about 15 police officers. We were not having a party, we were having a game night, no music. So yeah, she just lied, 20 people, and she said it was a party because we had food and balloons, because she was looking at it on the camera.
It's no parties, ma'am. It's just a game night, just playing some games on the tablet. But it's okay. I mean,
I can show you the camera. It's no problem.
It's fine. I just know not to rent from you again. It's okay. I make my comments and all that kind of stuff.
That's fine. Unfortunately, we're not allowed parties. That's the rules of the house.
It's not a party. You ain't hear no music when you came up, did you? So we're not partying. There's no, we just, fam, you know, game night on TikTok, the games, that's all we doing, literally. It wasn't a party. So you're saying everybody or
everybody have to leave the property.
Even me that rented it?
You gonna get your money back?
So do I get a refund? Calm down.
Unfortunately, no, because you break the rules.
I'm not having a party though, so how about breaking the rules?
You have balloons, you have food.
Balloons don't, they're just saying that I'm 53.
So can I ask you a question? So what's the AirBNB for? Why did you
stay when you come in? You can.
But I see in the comments where people say that, you know, it's
supposed to be more people.
Did y'all hear how rude she was? Oh my God, I was punching my.
It's okay, y'all. Come on. I'm just scared because it's gonna make it more problem. But I didn't understand why we needed so many police officers just to come deliver a message, though.
Because we're black.
You know, she mouth. I'm Hispanic too. So
it's not. You can even count. You can even count. It's not even 20 people in here. It ain't even 10. It's right at 10, probably. It's okay. We leaving. It's no problem.
All right, there you guys have the video again. Drop in the comments your straight, clear cut reaction. All right, Sade is saying, I think it's just stupid to say no parties, no get-togethers or whatever. Just don't be too disruptive and don't turn my ish up. I was with her too. She said balloons. Look, this is the thing. When you have people come to your residence or something that you're currently owning, you do have to have some sort of stipulations to keep people from tearing up your property. Like everyone does not. You don't have the same characteristics. Like you're going to meet those who are like, you know, hippie hoppy hooray, however I say those things. But you're going to have those people with all this extra energy and no respect. Like they're not going to conduct themselves as if they're home. They're not going to care about keeping your property clean. They're not going to care about, you know, not walking on your furniture. They're not going to. Matter of fact, some of you who even go to a hotel, you don't even want to make the bed because you're like, oh, they got people for that. Like you just like there are people out here who will destroy your stuff if you don't have stipulations for that. Now, I do want to backtrack because I noticed something a little bit different on the video this time too. I wanted to talk about the fact with these cameras though. Like, is that something that's a normal, a camera? Where was the camera? You know, because I was wondering at first, like, what is she typing on her phone? She was actually showing her pictures of what she saw happening. So I'm like, where did she get the camera from? Like, where did she get the footage from? That was one of my questions. Was the footage inside of the house? Was it from the ring? You know how they have the doorbells with the cameras on there? Because if it was inside of the house, now that's a different story. That's a different story. So we've already talked about what we consider a party or not. We talked about that already, but the officers that came, like what did they come with the intention for? Were they planning on breaking up this big old house party? Like, and this is a group of women. And they said they had approximately 15 officers. I don't see 15 officers in the video, because I'm thinking, when I hear 15 officers, I'm seeing lights, camera, action, like a whole plethora of officers, like at the front, the back, the side. Like, was it coming in like was it the SWAT team? Is that how they showed up? They pulled up, did they have what did they have? Like, how did they come through? Did it come through powerful and strong, or what? I don't know. I wasn't there. That's why next week we are having a young lady who recorded this video. The woman who recorded this video will be as part of the Boss Talk set. Matter of fact, next week. She's coming on Sunday, I believe. I'm going to verify that. But she's coming through. We want to hear her story, because we've all been to hotels, most of us. We've all rented Airbnbs, most of us. And we all know that they come with a set of rules. And rules are good for good reason. That keeps the order. Keeps the order. Let's keep the order. Yeah, it is excessive. Like, what was it coming in for? And were there any female officers? I didn't see any. Did y'all see any? I didn't see any. And matter of fact, I would hate to be the owner to kick out the woman on her birthday. Like, but in this realm, I guess you got to have tough skin. I don't care if it's your 53rd birthday. You got to get out of here. Pack it up. You and your 10 girls, pack it up. You got to go. That had to be a tough spot to do. So she had to be, have some backbone. But I really believe, to be honest, whenever I go and receive any type of customer service, I do expect professionalism. That is what I do expect. And when you're operating, from a business standpoint, you do have to remove your personal emotions from the situation, because that's what's going to get people even more upset. She probably wouldn't have been upset if she wasn't popping a gum. Probably wouldn't have been upset. And then the minority thing, do minorities understand other minorities? Are we all on the same playing field when it comes to that? Because she did mention that she understood where the woman was coming from. She said that. Understood where you're coming from. I'm a minority too, pretty much. I don't think she said minority, but she mentioned that. So let's see. You say, really? Airbnbs are for travelers, Jorge, for travelers. Okay. Me personally, I got a hotel suite in the next town over, just to be on a mini vacation, just to not be in my own home. So I guess technically it is traveling if it's not your own spot, your own space. Sade said absolutely not the same. My boss tried that BS with me. Sade, if you don't get up here and stop playing, get up here. You do not have to turn your camera on, girl. You don't have to turn your camera on. But I do want to hear from your point of view, because you're making some good perspectives here. Like, you mentioned some good points. Like, if any one of us were out, all right, and you were actually told that you were not getting a refund, and you were told this, in your mind, you are not violating any rules. How would you conduct yourself? Like, would you still, have respect for this person and their property? Hopefully you will, because hopefully you're mature. That's why you were able to rent it out in the first place. But how would you look at this? Like, um, how would you take it? How would you take it? You're not getting your money back at all. You might as well cancel that. Hopefully someone is, I don't know if I guess it wasn't a party, so you wouldn't have to continue it anywhere else. So, all right. So let me see if we can go ahead and let me see. I guess perspectives. All right. I'm gonna jump on to the next topic here. Let's jump on to the next topic here because we get a little razzle dazzled talking about if this was a party or not, or if this lady had the audacity to kick her out on purpose. So let's take a look at our next clip to move on with our next topic. This pearly thing slam dunked by I Am Courtney Michelle. Whose side are you on?
Well, one thing is, I don't ever know if Kevin Samuels ever selling or service for help on. Let me pause this because in this conversation and what the people are going to say and what they've been saying in the Pearly Defense Squad, because she has one, and I'm sure they're going to be coming after me. They're going to call me, I'm jealous. I want what she got. I want her subscribers. I want her platform. I know I'm going to hear it again. Let me be clear. I ain't jealous of no one. My priority is not YouTube. My priority is my family. My family comes first. Everything that we preach on these streams, and then the detractors and her defense squad is gonna come. You just jealous. They was calling Jason Black jealous, called O'Shea jealous. Of what? Because in this space, I thought that the women wasn't supposed to put career over family. I thought that in your 20s, you wasn't supposed to be out here bopping and thotting and taking career over man. But it just happens to be only for Black folks, because the white women can do it. The white folks that come in this space can definitely put everything over family, everything over marriage, everything that we keep telling our people to do. But the great white hope gets a pass. My priority is my family. So I'm not on here every day. I don't have time, because this is not what I'm wanting to do. This is not my career.
All right, I want to pause this right here. I just want to go back just a little bit. So, for one, I love her passion, and I'm just getting to the understanding of why she's so passionate about what she's speaking of. Now, if you guys can go ahead and drop in the comments what's your first how you feeling or whatever about what you just finished saying. Okay, she's passionate about this culture, the culture we have as in a Black community. She's passionate about the fact that we simply do not conduct ourselves in a certain manner that is acceptable from other races. Like for us, we have all these rules. We have what we're supposed to do, what we're not supposed to do, but a lot of people don't really abide by those rules from other races. Like, hey. So before I jump into it, did you see the last clip?
I did.
Okay. So what's your perspective on what Courtney is speaking on?
It's a little bit mixed. Like I feel like the woman's place is at home. And so it's like I agree when it comes to that point. I can't necessarily say that I agree that white women can do whatever they want to and we can't. But because with me, I'm a strong believer that I don't care what anybody else do as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So I do know that every situation is different. The way the household and the economy is now, everybody can't afford like for the woman to stay at home in those families. But that's just my basic 2 cents on that.
Okay, so pretty much what we're talking about, Courtney is talking about Pearlie coming over into our space, the Black community space, and speaking on things that we should be discussing as a community. So they feel like she's taking over and coming into a space where I don't know if she feel like she's welcome over here. Look, so that is a question. That is a question. Like, do we invite people over into our space when they really don't have any personal, like they can't really personalize the things that we go through? Do you feel like we invite people over to our space to contribute to topics that they might not have foreseen one-on-one?
You could get insight and knowledge from anywhere, but how if information makes sense, it makes sense. But it's like at the same time, I'm not going to fully take it to heart from, I guess you could say, an outsider, someone that's never been through what I'm talking about, versus someone that's been there, done that, and currently living it. And so I think it's up to that whoever they're talking to and that audience to really take a gauge on what information they choose to accept. But me personally, no, it's not going to hold as much weight coming from an outsider.
Yeah, because to be honest, I'm probably late to this or whatever. I'm just finding out about this Pearlie.
Me too.
This Pearlie. And from some of the things that I've seen that she's posted so far, my most recent reaction to her video that she just posted today, I noticed that the women did not even back up what, like, she said. I can't really quote what she said, but what she stated was pretty much telling the women that you brought this on yourself. And what I was questioning was she was speaking for women in general, but there was no comeback. There was no you're wrong, or that was no this is why. It was just her word. And it was more like sit back and, but that's a problem, is like far as women, like in this day and age, it's starting to see like more women are speaking up for themselves. But where are they speaking up for themselves? Like where are you speaking up for yourself at? If you're listening to this person and you possibly think that she might be going off a little too far to the left, who is there to bring her back to sit the table like, hey, this is why, this is the situation, this is what else would happen. Like sort of have a little more backbone when it comes down to her placing some sort of blame.
Okay, so I think I missed that part. So what exactly was she saying was their fault?
Well, actually, that came from a video clip that I watched earlier today. There was something that she posted today that I don't know if I have the clip of it, but she posted it today, and she was basically saying that women, it's your fault for oh gosh, I don't want to requote her because we're on this platform right here, but hopefully we can revisit that here. But I just get a little insight just from that little video, a little insight about some of the things that she probably have said in the past where there was no one to combat it. There was no one else to speak on where she's coming from. Like you're speaking to a group of people that might not have the backstory or the information to actually say anything and combat what you're saying. Topic: should outsiders be able to comment on our problems we face in our community? I'm gonna say, matter of fact, I do want some comments from the people in the chat. Do you guys feel like that? Before I drop anything about what my perspective, because I know my perspective, I want to know you guys' perspective, because I am definitely a fan of gaining perspectives from other people before I formulate my own. Like before I formulate my own, because when I formulate my own, I'm going to hold to it until something else shows me to think otherwise. But when it comes down to communicating with a group of people who might not have the history or the knowledge to actually say that something is wrong or that something is off, it's easier to persuade those people or to give them information, because they're like babies. You're teaching them something. You know, like when you come across as an adult, we've been through a lot of things, so we can actually have our experience to go back and say, oh, that's wrong, or oh, that doesn't sound right. But when you're teaching someone something, they have no prior knowledge. And if that's the lane that you're going to be in, uh, if that's the lane that you're going to be in, imagine the culture that you're presenting. Like, you are telling people and teaching people, this is the way things are supposed to be. This is the way things should be. This is why we have teachers. And from what K through 8th grade, you're teaching. That's what you teach children, because you're introducing them to new concepts. But when it comes down to like adult education, we're actually using some of our prior knowledge. So my point is, if you get a group of people and you're speaking on something that they have no background or no history on, you're just giving them raw information. Most of the time they internalize it because you just taught them something. They never been over here dealing with what we're dealing with. Anyone else have some new perspectives? Because I know I can't be just running my own thing, because I know people like, oh, I don't agree with it. Or, oh, like they say you can't teach a dog new tricks. Yeah. Like, but at the same time, if they've never been exposed to it, it's new to them.
I think you can teach a dog new tricks if they're willing to learn. And it's like, once again, everybody has an opinion. Like, even in asking for comments, you just said the same thing. Like, you like to hear other people's perspective. Mm-hmm. That don't mean you're going to agree. That don't mean you're going to listen to them or take it in. But, it's there. And so me personally, y'all listen to you. Well, I'll hear you out rather. Rather I take it in and use that information. It's debatable. It depends on what it is, but if it makes sense, it makes sense.
Yeah, if you have nothing to compare it to, it's more than likely that, I'm not going to say register as a fact to you.
Yeah.
Because when someone tells you something and you never experienced it, then you don't know. Like, say if all your life, like we already know, if all our lives we've been told that the sky is blue,
mm-hmm.
right? And we've actually went outside and seen that the sky is blue, right? So if you were actually never outside and someone told you that the sky is blue, you never went outside, you never seen it for yourself. You just have to go on the fact that someone told you that, oh, the sky is blue, but you have no information to verify it against.
Mm-hmm.
Like you never experienced it for yourself. So all you're going to go on is what somebody told you. That's what teaching is. Teaching is you go on what that person taught you or showed you, not really necessarily comparing it to your own experience. That's like the difference between gaining information, comparing information, forming an opinion. You have to have something to compare it to. Period.
To me, there's a difference. Some things are facts. 1 + 1 is going to always be 2. Some things are experiences. Facts, is facts regardless of who give it to you. Experiences, that varies from person to person. What works for me may not work for you. So I could tell you my experience. It's a fact to me, but it's may not be a fact for you in your life. And so that's where the difference come in at. And so, but it's up to us to be able to decipher, because just because it was a fact and an experience from somebody else, it worked for them, worked great for them, that don't mean it's going to work for me. My lifestyle is maybe set up differently than yours. Your characteristics, your demeanor may be different than mine. And
But
so,
I'm gonna say, but my question would be, how would that be valid until you have something to contrast it with?
simple. I think, well, I wouldn't say simple, but there's a difference. And so I get told all the time, I'm everybody's baby sister. Like, everybody always tell me what to do, always. But there's certain things. There's one person in particular, her personality is way different than me. I don't want to do that. It don't make me happy. I'm not going to do it. It's easier for her. So to me, that's something, it don't fit who I am. And so that's like one of the key things. I think it don't work. I don't have to go out and do exactly what she said to realize, now that's not gonna work for me. I don't, I'm not gonna want to wake up at 4:30 in the morning every day. Some things are naturally to your lifestyle currently, where you don't have to go out and try it out what somebody says just to figure out whether it'll work or not for your current setup.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to ask this question here. Like, what would be considered a black person's struggle? Like something
Life.
that we like something that we can harness on and say that's a black cultural struggle, or something that we do as a black people that other nationalities may not understand. Like different experiences, or even habits that we may have, our beliefs. Like, it's kind of very, I know that's like a big a generalized question, but like, what is something that we might think other nationalities or races may not understand, that they never experienced? I know hunger is all over the world, right?
Mm.
Like, and to be honest, like, if we talk about how people get on us for being black people, we have a lot of jokes. Have you seen our comedian list lately? We get on other cultures too. We t- we think about it, when we go to the corner store and we hear that bell come on in. What we say? Ninjas. Like, we, that's thank the Wayans brothers for that one. When we sit up there, just like, we go out and party. We have a little culture where we look at someone else who, like, might be a little offbeat. We start looking and picking, like, oh my gosh, they're offbeat. Like, come on, like, what is he doing? Where's your rhythm? Like, get together.
Yeah.
And if we see like the other ones that wear the hat or the shawls over their face, we be like, what you hiding from? What's up? It's like we do a lot of things that we might not like being done to us, as a people. So even when we do speak on the other nationalities or other races, we do have some sort of insight of what they may go through, some sort of insight, because we've been in their presence. We've seen what they've done. We've seen things that we like, some things that we don't like. Like, we always recognize the Chinese culture. We always say they always work together. Look at them. We talk about the Mexicans. They always work together. Look at them. Like, we see things from the outside and we make our own judgment on them. So is that what they're doing to us too?
I think so. I think so. And I think that with a lot of things, it's so easy to say, oh, well, if I was you, I'll do this. If I was you, I'll do that. But it is a difference. it's a big difference. First of all, in our community, we're behind the 8 ball. We have to be smarter, greater, just to be as good in their eyes. And so, yeah, you could probably, an outsider could kind of tell me something, but again, you don't know what it takes. You don't know the pressure. You don't know none of, like, you couldn't even begin to fathom exactly what it entails. So, like, when I jokingly said life, but no, I mean that. Like, I mean that.
Okay.
And it's literally everything I feel.
Yeah. All right. So for those of you who are just jumping in, we are actually listening to a clip by Miss Courtney Michelle. And she was just talking about just pearly things. She's very passionate about what she's speaking on. Like, she really feels like there's a problem that we need to do something about it. So whose side are you on? If you can go ahead and post it, like, matter of fact, play for where we stopped off at the last time.
What we preach. But it's interesting that other people get a pass. So no, I'm doing what I said for years on these panels, that I take being a mother serious. I take being a mate serious, a sister, a daughter serious. That's where my time goes. And that's where it's supposed to go. I'm not a feminist. I'm anti-feminist. That's what the people will say. That's what Just Pearly says. However, what is feminism? The idea of feminism is wanting to be like or equal to a man. So therefore, if Kevin Samuels have $1 million, I'm going to try to be like him. That is the idea of feminism. So you can't say you anti-feminism, but taking full advantage of what feminism was supposed to do, and that's to make you equal or better too. The contradiction and the hypocrisy is just disgusting.
Let's talk about this feminism thing real quick. I've been asked, since we have bosssisters.com, I've been asked, am I a feminist? And I am going to publicly declare I am not pushing for equal rights. I'm not. Not at all. It's like, I don't want an equal playing field, because there is no such thing as equal. Now, we can say fairness. I can say fair. But as far as equal, what's equal? Equal would mean that I have exactly what you have. I can produce exactly what you can produce. But if I cannot do that, that is not considered equal. We've all taken math class. We've all seen the balance scale, right? If it's 5 pounds over here, it must be 5 pounds over here. That means it has to be of equality, equal weight. And a lot of times we're not pulling off equality. There's absolutely no way for us to be balanced and be equal on this type of playing field. Now, when it comes down to like I don't know if I'm getting backlash from this too. Working in a job field, in a career field, a lot of women want to be paid the exact same pay rate as the men do. I understand that completely. I totally understand that. But it also depends on what industry you're in. Like, are you in the manufacturing industrial industry? Like, are you in a competitive industry? Like, what industry are you in where you want to have these equal this equal pay? Right? Does this equal pay mean that we get to take off the same amount of time? Because for us women, I want more. If I have a child, I want more time with my baby. To be honest, I want more time at home. Matter of fact, when it came down to picking up the children from school, I'm getting off. I'm going to go get my child from school. And far as like the living arrangements, not going to lie, most of us women get help. A lot of us do. Not saying that we need it. Let me not throw that out there. Not saying that we need it, but we get the support. We do. We get help. So a lot of women may not totally agree with me, but at the same time, I feel like it's not, it's like, I feel like more women are pushing to be equal only when it's coming to the money part, not when it's coming to the labor part. You want to be equal as far as income, but not equal when it comes to the work and the labor. Not saying that you guys are lazy, not saying that you won't work, not saying that at all. But equal pay, equal labor. That means if this person is working 12 hours a day, I must work 12 hours a day. Get that.
My opinion is a little bit different than yours. I do I guess you could say I am kind of feminist, but to me it's a difference. Like if even if you look up the definition of feminist is based on those roles and equality and fairness. My difference is because if you're put in a certain position, yeah, we need to be the same. Like, you know, men are typically stronger than women. But if a woman isn't as strong, don't put her work wise, don't put her in that position. That's stupid as a business owner, truthfully. You know, but it's like at the same time, I would consider myself a feminist to be fair and right. But it's like at the same time, I'm a big believer in roles. That's where the difference come in at. So to me, my role that women are caregivers, that needs to be our main role. I would say, versus the man being the physical, the strong wing, the provider. That don't mean we're not equal. We just you pull your weight over there, I pull my weight over here to make us a whole. And so that's where I feel like our differences kind of come in at. Like it's equal to me. We just our roles is just different.
No, I agree with the different roles in the different roles. Yeah. But at the same time, there is no definition of equal. Like we can't really give equal a value.
You say equal rights. I'm like,
Okay, let me see if I want to say equal rights. Maybe I made a mistake and said equal. Okay, fairness,
okay.
fairness. Okay, I'm gonna say fairness. And far as went down to equal rights, I do want us to have equality when it comes down to opportunity. But hmm,
It needs to be like football practice. If you don't make the team, you don't make the team.
right, you don't make the cut.
Yeah,
Okay.
like and so like my daughter, she want to play football. Dad said no. I say I don't care. Like go try out. I don't see her making the team. What harm is it gonna do? She could say she tried it, and you get what you want, and she don't play.
I think sometimes what we are restricted from is of our for our best interest.
Yeah.
Like when it comes down to having the right to do something, sometimes when we don't have the right to do something, it's for our protection. Like if you even go, it's like I don't want to go biblical, but when people be talking about the commandments,
Hmm.
you know, people oftentimes look at the restriction as it's the worst thing in the world, but they're
Hmm.
there to protect you. They're
Hmm.
there to protect you. If you eat too much,
Hmm.
like what's gonna happen? You're gonna blow up like a blowfish. But if you don't and you eat in moderation, it helps to keep you more healthier. So when it comes down to having the right to do something, I I I I I, I, I don't want to say I'm on the fence. I don't want to say I'm on the fence, but I do say that there are certain uh, boundaries and restrictions that need to be placed on a certain type of people. Like everybody is not in the same mindset. Everyone is not, we're not built the same. Because if you give one person a right to do something, they may take it and run with it and tear up the whole thing. And you're like, man, wait a minute. I gave this person the right. Okay, the right to speak up. Right to speech. Yeah. We have a right to speak. Yes. Okay. And there's always that one person. Yes, you have your right. And they can turn an entire room upside down because they do have their right to speak. Right? That is a small example. Okay. Don't get me wrong. That's a small example. But I do feel like there are certain restrictions, not just for women, but for men as well. It's not one-sided at all. Like, think about it. People had a whole big issue when they felt like, oh, it was a bunch of men making the plan for us women to not be able to have birth control or have abortions. It was a bunch of men that planned this. It was a big issue, feeling like men had control over what us women do. But we gave them the right to do that. Like that's my thing. Like it's always it's always going to be a double-edged sword when it comes down to something. Like, so don't, well, just because you're rooting and you're wanting something, don't forget the fact that there's a cause and effect. Like, because I have the right to do this now, because I have the opportunity to do this, guess what? They have the opportunity and the right to do it as well. Like, but they might not be in your same mindset. They might not be in your same situation. And as you see, people be making laws and mentionings and all type of things that don't necessarily be for the betterment of our communities, for our understanding. Like, I don't want to get too, but in my neighborhood, people were outraged because we don't have much here for the children to do, but they go and build an entire dog park for the animals. It was like, wait a minute, but guess what? They had a right. They got a right to do that. Just like you had a right. You had a right to say do put together something for the children. You had the same right. But because it wasn't that you feel like you didn't have the resources or you didn't know who to talk to, you just discredited the fact that they had a right to do what they wanted to do as well. Oh, that's not fair. It's not equal. No. Let me see. Let's bring up a new guest. What we have?
And
D.
her thing was,
wow, how you been?
You talked to Flower Girl and Ty. I said, there was a brief exchange. I said, but
oh my goodness, what's going on, Hush?
What's up? How y'all doing, ladies? Good evening.
How you been?
I'm okay.
Look, I almost missed you. I almost missed you.
Almost. Yeah, I'm back.
You see the topic we talking about though?
Just pearly thing, slam dunk.
Now, Missy, put the question back up here for me.
Whose side are you on? Topic. Should outsiders be able to comment on your problems with face in your community? Outsiders meaning other people than us?
Yeah, other people other than us.
Well, of course, yeah. They have an opinion. Y'all see what happened with spring break this year?
What happened with spring break?
No, they let the niggas loose. Oh, the niggas went wild. Oh my God. They in Florida, they stepping on cars, they gun ho, they shooting at people. Yeah, the niggas went wild and shit. Oh yeah.
Not our people. Our people?
Yeah, oh yeah, it was nothing but our people doing all that niggery. So they put a band. They put a curfew out, and they call them spring breakers. And that was the funny part, because I'm like, spring breakers? No, these niggas.
No,
But
man.
I mean, but you gotta look at the dynamics and what's going on in the world. So you got a whole bunch of young people, free young people, doing what they think they want to do, going wild, going crazy. Alcohol is the problem. Testosterone, estrogen is high, and they have no discipline.
Mm,
No discipline. And now look, now you got Florida saying we don't want spring break here.
wow. Wow. What
So
about
yeah.
we were actually we had moved forward a little bit and we were talking about feminism as well. What's your take on? Hold, let me read Jorge's messages. I think it's about respecting diverse women's experiences, identities, knowledge, and strengths, and striving to empower all women to realize their full rights. All right, that's his take on feminism. So, um, I'm gonna ask one of you fellas first, because Manny and I we just finished talking about feminism, and Manny said, you know what, I'm more of a feminist. Is that true, Manny?
It's true, but I also believe in roles. I believe that we should have the same opportunities, but just because those opportunities are there, I still don't feel like that's our place, if that makes sense. Because even how you stated not too long ago about, not having the rights and so forth, as black people, we were slaves. As black people, we wasn't allowed to vote and so forth else, I think your exact words was certain some limitations are there to protect us.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of goes back, if thinking about it as a whole. I believe that as free thinking human beings, we should be able to live our life the way we want to and have, like I said, the same opportunities. But I still believe in a place. Everybody should have their own place.
Yeah, I'm a believer of order. I believe
Mm-hmm.
order is definitely important. And if we want to talk about the fact that we did not have the right to vote and things like that, how many Black Americans still not voting? Like, what is that? What does that matter in right now, as far as when it comes down to equality, if you're not exercising your full potential to be equal? You're not really doing that. Like, you don't want equal. Who wants equal? It's like when I see equal, equal normally falls down onto benefits and finances. Equal. But when it comes down to the work, you don't want equal work. No. I don't see a lot of people registering and signing up for equal work. So therefore I'm saying I'm not a big fan of equality, but I'm a big fan of fairness. What about you guys? D, how are you?
I'm well, and I'm intruding of a bit, but I'm well, and I'm happy to be up here, and happy that you to be a part of this discussion, which is meaningful to me, especially when it comes to particularly engaging in our areas of our communities and
Is he frozen?
y'all can see me.
You were
Yes.
frozen for a second. I can see you still.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna fix that real quick. Yeah, for me, the commitment to the community start just
Uh, you're freezing up. All right.
I'm gonna come back.
Okay, D, hold on. Yeah, come back. Okay, get your right together.
And one thing I want to say before my thing messed up, I agree with you. Like, but to me, fairness is equality. That's the difference. Don't change the rules to fit a woman, that's where it comes in at. Like if you got the same rules that a man have and you can meet them and that's what you want to do, go for it. But that's if you got to change the rules to fit that position or situation for a woman, that's not equality to me.
Yeah.
Like you want to run with the big boys, like you got to step your game up.
But a lot of times that's what people do. They change the rules.
And that's what's not right. That's not equality. That's not fair.
Right.
And so that's the difference to me.
Okay. I definitely agree with the changing of the rules, the stipulations, and all of that to fit or conform to a person or a people.
Yeah.
That's why, if we put it like that, you like fairness is equality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still fairness is equality. I don't.
It's like the same.
Let me think on that for a second. Is fairness equality? If you guys are tuning in, right? Help me out with this one. Is fairness equality? Like, is that what it is?
One of the key examples you gave was for the work related and a man lifting up the heavy stuff. And you mentioned about the equal pay, since the typical woman can't lift as much as a man. That becomes not equality and not fair for that man that got to sit up and make up for that extra weight to meet production and to cover the other woman's half that get paid the same amount as him. That's not fair to him.
Right.
The woman could see it as a good deal, but not to him. And to me, that's my thing. Make it fair across the board. If you want to play in this ballpark, you got to meet the standards. If you can't meet the standards, you need to go elsewhere.
My thing is whose fight is this? Whose fight is it?
Right.
Because I don't think it's the black man's fight. The thing about it is, our women always fought for fairness and equality. Yeah, always have. Since the landing of the rocket on the moon. What's that? What's that movie? Colors? Not Colors. What's that movie?
Color.
Yeah, right. So y'all always fought for a closer bathroom and stuff like that. Colored woman's bathroom and all that. So, but my thing is, it's not our fight. And now at this age that we are, the verses is. Now I might go off a little bit, but I want y'all to come back with me. This is the new verses. Karens versus the LGBTQ community, because they're combative and they could work. You know what I'm saying? Either side could win. A Karen can win, or LGBT community person could win. But that's that verse. A black man doesn't fit in that category. No way. He can't win that battle, right? Now you got, follow me now. Now you got modern women versus the Republican white man, because either side can win. That'd be a very good versus battle. Modern women want that stature that the Republican white man has held for many, many centuries. And that's where we at now with this feminist stuff. The black man don't fit in with that. Because you know why? The black man says, you know what? I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna keep doing what I gotta do for my family, regardless. I'm not arguing with no feminist. And I'm not arguing with no white man. So I don't fit in that category. So now, when it comes down to this, what are we really talking about for the ladies who are feminists? What are y'all? What do you want? And how do y'all get it? Marching?
I want to go ahead and invite Miss Stephanie McKenzie. How are you? I'm sorry, Doctor.
Oh, no, ma'am. No doctors here. I'm Stephanie. Hi, nice to meet you all.
Hey,
Good.
Stephanie.
All right. So, what is your perception on what a feminist is?
Oh my, this is such a convoluted question because I have always been taught, well, let me say this. I have been taught that a feminist is someone that puts women first. Now, whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent, okay, fine. But the subsequent lesson to that was always Black women shouldn't be feminist. And I was like, well, that's really interesting, but I just haven't taken the time to delve into why that is or why that's not. So, the answer to your question, someone that puts the feminine agenda, the rights of women first. So that's my cursory understanding.
Okay, and why do you think, just going off board, why do you think it's not as common or told for women to become feminists, like for Black women to be a feminist? Why would
Um,
they not be a part of that?
that's a great question. I think if like I said, I didn't take the time to delve into it. I just kind of said, "Oh, that's an interesting perspective," and I just kind of went on with life. But if I have to think about it, I think it's because it's very hard in this world for white women and Black women to have the same agenda, truthfully, because we automatically come into the race a little more disadvantaged, a little further back. And so even if our Caucasian counterparts say, want to further a particular agenda, um, the challenge is, will that agenda ultimately benefit us all? Because let's just be honest, as a Black woman, there are things that I cannot do in the public eye. I mean, I could, but it's taken completely differently. If I'm running around talking about, puss power and all this other stuff, I got a vagina on my head, that's a whole different conversation for me as a Black woman than it is for a Caucasian woman. It just is. And I think that ultimately there's more liberation and more privilege for the white woman. As we all know, white privilege does exist. And in many cases, our white counterparts are unaware or seemingly unaware of how to wield their white privilege so that it is beneficial to the Black woman. That's just me thinking out loud. I'm sorry. That's all I got.
And your
I
thoughts?
agree with that.
Definitely.
I don't agree with none of that.
I do, because like honestly, I believe like a lot of, as she stated, like a lot of things we already sat behind the 8 ball, and a lot of things are meant for us to continue to be put behind. And so that's why I say equal rights. Like, we're a feminist, but at the same time, it's not our role. But you think about it, okay, so you can't deter the Black man from this way, attack the Black woman from this area. And so it's like, regardless of how you come at it, it's always something tearing us down in some way, shape, or form. And so until you are equality, whether it's feminist or whatnot, or as a Black as a whole, it should be equal, period. Whether you take advantage of it or should take advantage of it is a different thing. I Like I said, like, even I consider myself a feminist, but I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to be the sole, caregiver or provider for my family. There's a lot of, I don't want to do that. But I believe that if I chose to, I should still have that right. And so when you take those options away, it limits your success. And so even how Hey Hush said, well, it's not his fight. I beg to differ, because if feminists per se may not be your fight, but it's gonna give them fuel to keep fighting elsewhere. As you being a Black male,
Yeah, but feminists don't fight for Black men.
I'm saying it takes that power away. If you could deter a woman, if you could break her down, it's like, okay, well, this is working. Let's push the button here and see where this go. and eventually it's going to come down to you.
What? No. Okay.
I'm not agreeing with that.
Me neither.
I'm not agreeing with that.
So let me simplify it, because what I gather from what she's saying is, and what from everybody's saying, and she's piggybacking off my sister Stephanie here, is basically that, of course, the feminist origins came from the white woman's perspective, and to gain power and momentum was to grab the black woman, right? Because if you look at the historical standards of the black woman and the black man helped build this country without yield. There was designs and mechanisms and stories that came from black women who are the creators of certain stuff. That's just fact. So when there was no pull just from saying I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm that. Well, let's take on, for example, we all seen the movie Numbers. Let's say if the white women had got to those brilliant black women and, you know, my husband won't let me do this, my husband won't let me do that, and somehow was convincing enough to those brilliant women that helped send a rocket into outer space. What do you think would have happened if those women would have aligned with those women? That rocket still sits very much grounded. And so because of that, they knew that there was power in that and they had to go. Now, what happened was there was a disconnect in our community because the very standard that we saw from a logical position was like, that really ain't your fight. But I get it, but that ain't your fight. Right? Mm-hmm. That's why I stand with you, Hush. And also stand with Sister Mandy as well on the situation as into how things get convoluted and how it all gets bunched up. And this is why I was stating earlier before Wi-Fi went haywire on here. Never get a cat. So my thing was that the community requires commitment. Mm-hmm. And that's just the gist of it. I don't have discussions with people about world news when you don't know what the hell's going on in your HOA. Plain and simple. Yep. Because that's the thing that is directly affecting your situation more so than the war over in Ukraine between them and Russia. Like, yeah, it might be some gas prices spiking up here and there, but horses and mopeds and all kinds of other forms of transportation still exist. So we can bypass that. That's not going to be something that's going to affect you to a point where it just damages your household. The ideology and position of our people when it comes to this was I had a discussion with a woman on TikTok, and she asked me, do I believe that women who have the same amount of education, same amount of skill set, should they get the same pay? I'm like, absolutely. Even if somebody is a special needs individual that may have particularly a missing limb or a certain type of speech pattern, if they possess the skill sets and the prowess to move about in this particular platform, then they should get the pay that is the standard. And she's like, well, that will make you a feminist. And I was like, no, I just stand for what's right, you know? And she's like, no, if you think women should get equal pay and this, I was like, no, I'm like, it's not only women for me, it's anybody with the skill set should be properly rewarded. And that's where a lot of the agendas of particular groups get lost, because you have one particular side stating this is this is this, and you have the other side stating this is this and this and this, and then overall you look at the umbrella and it says the same thing, and you're like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't have a clue. You know, if this is the agenda of the feminists to get equal pay, well, I got you. I can cover you that. Now, if it's all this other stuff that's supposed to be sexual liberations and all this other, I don't know which one is the real agenda, you know, because what ends up happening now is the illusion that has been put out there that is one particular thing versus another Now they have to come together somehow and say, well, it's all of it.
Right.
And at that point, you're like brother was saying, that ain't my fight. I can't participate, because as men, there is a position that we must hold, regardless of education, tax bracket, the whole nine. You have to have a position of clarity as a man. You just that's one thing I want to put out there for brothers to understand. You have to have a position of clarity as into how you're going to move about. It don't have to be a grand idea or it just has to be something that is precise to a vision that, hey, this is where I'm at and this is where I need to be. Now I work on how I'm going to get there. And so when we hear these things as men, we understand one position. And then when we hear all this other stuff, you're like, I don't know.
I don't agree with that.
I don't know. And then when you don't really have a position that you're stating like, oh, I'm going with you, then it makes it seem like you're not for it. Because when you come to the table to support and you only give me a very small portion that I can give, a full amount of my support to, and then you're like, what about this? Again, I'm not a circus clown. I don't juggle.
They gave women, they gave black women the word feminism, and what black women do, they made the word feminism great. You know why? Because they weaponized it. They gave the word narcissist. You know what the black women did? They weaponized it. Black women, y'all need to understand, when y'all start weaponizing entities and words and things against the men that you are procreating with, it's a detriment to our society, to our community. Thank you. Words by Hush.
I would raise my glass just off the closing of that statement.
Well,
I would agree with you to an extent. I wouldn't say that our women weaponized it. It was already weaponized, and then it was just invoked. It took a lot of people in a certain position that were emotionally feeling some type of way, and when you catch people in emotional states and you pour into that, then all you're doing is setting the house on fire. That's all you're doing at the end of the day. So I wouldn't say they weaponized it, and the whole narcissist thing. It's just a word play that's going around. We've seen it happen here over the past decade with the trendy words every year, toxic and so forth and so on. I'm like, oh Lord, what's going to be the word of 2024? Are we really prepared for a word to be misused and misappropriated? And then, what acronym is going to become a word in Webster next? it's a lot of that's going on. This is just a different time, and this is where we just have to give people their space, whether we agree with them or not.
Yeah. I'm thinking now it's more about content. A lot of people want to be a part of the history books. They want to be the first to start something, the first to initiate it. And I'm thinking sometimes it's going left because you're not really thinking about the cause. You're thinking about just making something, creating something, or starting a trend, versus it actually helping our culture or our communities. And another thing, like I wanted to touch base on, going back just a little bit, when it comes down to like the like you were speaking, you're thinking on the fact that people receive equal pay for equal skill. Now we all know that when you're getting hired for any position, you're not really getting hired upon your skill. You're getting hired upon you being liked. They like you, so if they like you, they're going to pay you more. So that don't really have much to do with. I mean, I'm not saying that that's the just or the best thing about it, but when it comes down to that, look who you're being hired by. So that's like a big disconnect. But we pretty much about to wrap this show up here. I want to thank you all for chiming in. Miss, hold on, I want to mispronounce your name. Miss Alape. Yep. All right. So hi. So we're about to wrap it up within a few minutes, but I do want to get your input before we get out of here or anything. Have you been listening to anything, or are you just popping up?
Literally just walked in.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Thank you for being honest. So we basically were just wrapping up. We were talking about we were actually jumping on just pearly things, slam dunk by Miss Courtney Michelle. We're going to probably, wrap it up right here, stop where we are. But she had a really strong point of view about others speaking about Black culture that's not a part of our culture. Like, she really have a very strong point of view on that one. So it's like, whose side are you on? But I want to go ahead and announce the fact that we're wrapping up here, and please stick around and don't miss the missing conversation hosted by the awesome right after this segment here. Don't miss it. You don't want to miss it, because if you've seen this man right here, is highly intelligent, a very respectable man in the community. And we definitely appreciate you being here on the Boss Talk segment and making rationale out of a lot of stuff that we were saying here. Like, I appreciate you jumping in with your opinions. And thank you all for being here. Hush, Maddie, Miss Stephanie, thank you for jumping in and giving value. Like, everything that you guys place up on the platform with us here at Boss Talk is of value, and very appreciated. Anyone have last words?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. I feel the same. Thank you so much.
All right, so you guys tune back in, or we're going to be here on Monday nights. If you can change to let people know we can find us with the Boss Talk. We're still looking for panelists who are interested in being a part of our upcoming Boss Talk segments. Like I said, this is the official, unofficial first launch of Boss Talk. And you guys have an amazing evening.
Squad.